All right, hey, what's up, everybody? Mike Lindsley back with you. Rosie's Corner, the official pizza shop of the ML Sports Platter. Busy, of course, every day here. Theme foods, Taco Tuesdays, Pork Wednesdays, Friday fish, you name it. You can come here to Rosie's and get it all. Pizza, wings, hot and cold subs as well. And oh, by the way, the ice cream stand is open now for the summertime. And of course, I'll tell you this, ice cream social media, pretty cool. We're 1 week in. All you have to do is come down, take a selfie with your ice cream, post it on Instagram or Facebook, and link and tag Rosie's. And of course, you will get a free small cone right then and there to use that night or later on. So really cool stuff going on here every single day at Rosie's Corner, right in front of the Brewerton Bridge on Route 11. If you are in and around central New York, get off that Bartell Road exit, and it's about a mile and change up. So make sure you come by and see my friends at Rosie's Corner. I want to talk about the Minnesota Twins and how insane they've been playing. Now, first of all, a lot of times when you get a team that's on the roll and they've built this enormous lead, their surroundings help them. Just as much as winning. And what I mean by that is Cleveland has really struggled. That division is not very good. Now, the White Sox are on their way. I think the White Sox could be scary in a couple of years, what they've built there with Eloy Jimenez and, some other players there. Lucas Giolito is finally finding it as a pitcher. But the Royals are brutal, and the overall division is kind of meh. And the Indians, a team that I picked to win the division again, even though I knew that they were going to run into some problems, the Indians have totally collapsed to the point where they may just start fire selling everybody off here in another month at the trade deadline. Would they trade Corey Kluber when he gets back and healthy? Would they trade Trevor Bauer? Carlos Carrasco had to go to Venezuela for a blood issue. So that's, thoughts and prayers for him. Hopefully he makes a speedy recovery. But Jose Ramirez struggled last year. It carried over to now. He's not playing that well. And you can only have Frankie Lindor do so much at shortstop and at the plate as well. So the Minnesota Twins have taken advantage of a poor division, and they've taken advantage of the Cleveland Indians' collapse. But here's the thing. I'm not saying that I picked them to win the division or anything like that, but if you looked at the Minnesota Twins going into this season and thought that they would not be competitive, you're crazy. Because first of all, they have frontline starting pitching. They have Jose Barrios, they have Kyle Gibson, and they've got, I'll tell you what, they have got an amazing Jake Odorizzi, mix of pitches. I swear to God, that guy throws 7-8 pitches, it feels like. But when you have that frontline pitching with Odorizzi, with Barrios, and with Gibson, that's a good 1-2-3. And not a lot of teams have that in Major League Baseball. But I thought that they really had a terrific offseason because they hit 2 major home runs where I was concerned. Number one, I loved the signing of Marwin Gonzalez. I cannot believe that people slept on Marwin Gonzalez. He would have been absolutely positively at the top of my list to pick him up. He's an October master, clutch as hell, super great clubhouse guy, comes from that Astros world of winning a World Series. I would have snatched him up if I were a lot of other teams as well. So kudos to the Twins for that one. And then Jonathan Schoop. They picked up this guy. He's been really, really good for them. He's an exact fit. And then all the other players on the roster are having career years. I mean, look at Rosario, look at Polanco. These guys, they're all having unbelievable career years. So when you take the combination of all of that, you're going to win a lot of baseball games. But the Minnesota Twins, for people who slept on them going into this season, it was a big mistake. Now, again, I'm not calling them to win the pennant. I'm not saying anything like that. But to be a decent team, to be a playoff team, I'm not surprised. The Minnesota Twins are exactly where they are. When you have a frontline starting pitching like that, and you've got the lineup like this, and guys having career years, you're going to win a lot of games. And again, you're going to take advantage of that division. You're going to take advantage of the Cleveland collapse. And oh, by the way, I should mention that sometimes, a manager's word can get stale, right? Sometimes you need that fresh voice. Well, the Twins got rid of Paul Molitor, and I thought to myself, geez, that kind of seemed a little unfair, didn't it? Because Paul Molitor, how much of this is really his fault, right? Well, let's fast forward to 2019. They hire Rocco Baldelli in the offseason. He seems to be a perfect fit for this team. He seems to be a guy who's very charismatic. He's a really, really good people person. I'm not saying Molitor wasn't, But you wonder if there was a little bit of that Joe Girardi and Paul Molitor in terms of showing up every day and just being super tight-fisted and always nervous and always serious and just, straight-laced and walking through the clubhouse and not saying anything, get down to business. Everything is super, super serious, super, super intense. That's not what GMs want in today's day and age in Major League Baseball. They want a guy who's going to be, a good buddy to the players. They want somebody who's a relationship builder. They want somebody who can manage the clubhouse. And then the nerds and the GMs and all these other guys, they kind of take over a lot of things. And then, of course, they let the manager do some things on the field. But Sabermetrics, of course, control a lot of it. I think the Houston Astros have a great balance with those things I just talked about and the natural coaching, natural scouting with guys, their manager, A.J. Hinch, in their scouting department, developmental program. I think the same holds true for the Atlanta Braves. I think it holds true for the Cardinals and the Cubs. I think it holds true, certainly for the Dodgers. In the Minnesota Twins. I think the Twins have really now figured out a way to kind of piecemeal this roster together. You have the new manager. You have guys having career years. And they're all feeding off one another. That's another big thing. When you have a team that's playing like the Minnesota Twins, you just want to keep competing. You want to keep doing well because your teammates are doing well. If he's doing well, I gotta match him. I gotta kind of rise my game up a little bit so that they can count on me. And you can clearly see if you watch a Twins game, I've caught a couple. They hit a lot of home runs, and they're like in the top 1 or 3 or 5 in basically most offensive categories. When you go from home runs to OPS to a bunch of other stats, this team is loaded right now, and they are putting up some ungodly numbers. So the Minnesota Twins, again, I'm not really sure about the postseason in terms of if they can make a big run. It does look safe that they're going to win the AL Central right now. I know Cleveland knocked them down a couple times this week. But whoop-de-doo-dah, the lead is still very, very large. And I would expect the Minnesota Twins to win that division. The question becomes in the playoffs. This is a team that you never really can trust. They always lose to the Yankees. Do they have enough for a 5-game or a 7-game series? Could they dethrone, could they dethrone Boston? Can they take out Houston? I'm here to tell you that they may have a shot at beating anybody, and there's a couple of reasons why. One, they have a great balance of offense with the homers and hitting to contact. And then they have frontline starting pitching. So if you're going to go up against Boston, you're going to go up against New York, you're going to go up against the Houston Astros, you can throw Berrios, you can throw Odorizzi, you can throw Kyle Gibson, 1, 2, 3. And boy, that's a pretty good start right there, in a series. So I think Houston's pitching still better. Justin Verlander, Garrett Cole and company, still a better staff, but the Twins pitching right now is just as good, if not better, than both Boston and New York, so that's something to pay attention to. And as the summer goes on, as it gets warmer and all the rest, it gets like hot days in July and August, will those guys hold up? That's going to be an interesting thing. But in terms of the postseason, if you're a Minnesota Twins fan, that is a couple of areas where I would be very happy and confident about my baseball team. Well, there you go. 9 minutes with me, Mike Lindsley, here at Rosie's Corner, IGTV, YouTube, and Facebook. Make sure you hit me on Twitter, at Mike L Sports, and download my podcast, the ML Sports Platter, all over the major platforms, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. I just got done recording an interview with Jack Curry from the Yes Network, who's come out with a brand new book with David Cohn. It's called Full Count, The Education of a Pitcher. Go pick it up at davidcohnbook.com. Jack was amazing, so make sure you go check out that interview. And again, I am here at Rosie's Corner. It's a Fish Friday. They have Pork Wednesdays. They have Taco Tuesdays. They've got the best pickles you'll find. And, of course, awesome beverages, mac and potato salad. It's that time of year for that. Grilled chicken salad here is delicious as well. You can get them on Grubhub, pizza wings, hot and cold subs, you name it. And check out that ice cream social media night on Tuesday night where you post a selfie, tag Rosie's on Instagram or Facebook, and get a free small cone that night. As I always tell you, enjoy the games.